Oh man, sometimes football throws out some funny stuff in it. Don't ask me why. I woke up this morning, obviously because of Brentford doing us a favour. I'm going to be honest. And I said to my son, I said, "Don't ask me why, but I got a good feeling about today." And he was like, "Why?" I said the same thing to one of my best friends, and he was like, "Why?" I said I had this little vision. I was just like, imagine sitting there next weekend, cracking open a beer and putting it in my glass, and watching West Ham against Arsenal. And as long as we beat Leeds, I can really enjoy that. Now, granted, Leeds is a day after. So it pains me to say I need an Arsenal win. Realistically, a draw is probably a good result. But going back to, forget the future. I'll go back to today. I always talk about the visitors, the opposition first. Aston Villa were. I've never seen Aston Villa. I can't even remember the last time I've seen Aston Villa play that bad. I understand that they had to make changes. When you looked at some of the players that they were playing, when I said to my son straight away, as soon as I see Lindelof and Tyrone Mings, I was like, even though Richarlison ain't great, he'd probably do all right today. I didn't really see what they were trying to do apart from one thing, which was save legs for the game they got against Forest in the midweek. They've got an advantage because they play a day before Forest. Forest are probably going to do the same tomorrow, which helps us because if they rest a load of players and Chelsea are trying to smuggle their way into some sort of European place, Chelsea might win and all of a sudden we drag Forest into it. But Villa were... You could tell Villa had players that kind of knew that they were going to either start in the Europa League semi-final against Forest and kind of thought, I don't want to get injured. And then there was players that are on the outskirts of the squad that kind of knew that even if they play well today, they're not getting in the first team lineup. And it was just, you could just tell they were bad. I think they had one shot on target all game, right at the end. And if it weren't for that, they didn't have no shots at all, I don't think. I don't think they had any shots on target. And I think they had like 2-3 touches in the box against us. Like Aston Villa really need to look at themselves, man. They lost 3 on the bounce. I'm not sitting there getting cocky or anything like that because we've just won 2 on the bounce and I'm gassed. But I'm also realistic. I'm very confident that there's going to be another spanner in the works because all it takes is for West Ham to beat Arsenal. They jump out of it and then we've got to beat Leeds at home and we don't beat anyone at home. So if you're a Spurs fan, be happy that we got the result today because I'll be honest, I was gassed. My son was that gassed that he was hugging me and I looked at him and he had the tears coming out of his eyes, but it was all happy tears. He was so gassed when Richarlison made it 2-0. One thing I'm going to say to Aston Villa, thank you so much. Go on and go and win the Europa League, man. I hope you're the champions of Europe. You've done us a real favour today. But I feel with the performance that we put in today, where's that been? I've been waiting. Like I said to my son, I can't even remember the last time I've seen a Tottenham team press like that with some sort of measure. We had Ange, but Ange was just whatless. He was just run around David. It's like headless chickens. Thomas Frank did it in one game against Man City and then refrained from doing it again. Igor Tudor didn't know what was going on. We had Contes, you've had Mourinho's. I mean, the last time I've seen Tottenham play like that, regardless of the opposition, was probably under Poch, man, where there was a measured press. I'm not here for Ange's football. Everyone could tell me Ange's. I'm not here for that football where you just press for the sake of pressing. Because with Ange, all it took was one ball over the top and everybody was through. With this game, it didn't matter what Villa did. We told them, go on the wings because we know we'll control it out on the flanks. You're not going to do us there. Come through the middle and you're just going to get met by 3 absolute beasts today. We had Thomas Frank playing Bentancur and Paulinho, and we all complained about it. And I've done it on many a video where I've said, the only reason why it looks bad is because of Thomas Frank's tactics. You put them two in front of a, fragile defence, you don't get through. And De Zerbi's understood that. You got Conor Gallagher. This is what, again, something I've been saying that managers don't understand. How is it? This guy, in terms of pressing midfielders, is probably top 3 in the Premier League. Bar none. And we were playing him defensive midfield. We were playing him in the number 8. We were playing him right wing back at one point. It's like, well, get a pressing team and put Conor Gallagher in there and you'll bear the fruits. And look at what happened. That's why Aston Villa were after him. Because Aston Villa, you look at them, if they had Conor Gallagher today, they probably win the game. You know, this is the first time in a long time. And again, I'm not going to get too gassed because I understand that Aston Villa made a whole heap of changes and their mentality was more focused on Thursday night. But to a man, Kolo Muani played well. And that's all down to the manager, if I'm honest, because, the manager in press conferences was gassing up Kolo Muani, talking about him being 70 million from PSG and there's a player in there. And I just think he's put an arm around him and said, look, mate, I've just gone and told the world that I think you're a top player. You better go out there and show it. These are the sort of managers we needed. We had Thomas Frank that would lose 3-0. He'd lose 4-1 at the North London derby and he's having a cup of tea with the owners saying everything's all right. I don't need you. I need a Roberto De Zerbi. I need somebody. This is why I wanted Poch back. But, De Zerbi's up there with him. We need things like that. We need managers. We need players that press. Because this is what happens. The fans get on song. When we were singing Calm on You Spurs and when the Spurs go marching in, I said to my son, I don't remember the last time I sang that, but I felt myself doing it today. It's been years, it feels like, since I've been singing that. Why? Because we've had a group of players that are disillusioned and we've had a manager that doesn't know how to get the fans on song, and we've got one now. Now, does that mean that we're going to stay up? I'm not going to go around saying we're going to stay up because in my head, you still got 4 games. Is it 4 games? No, 3 games. We still need people to do us favours. We still need Chelsea effectively to win tomorrow. We need Arsenal to do us a favour tomorrow. Not tomorrow, sorry, at the weekend. And we need to do ourselves a favour by beating Leeds. But I can't lie. In that game, that's the first time in a long time I've been happy. I've got a lot of people messaging me going, oh, see, told you Tottenham are going to stay up, Tottenham are going to stay up. Still a long way, man. We've just got to win our games. It's back in our control. I feel that if we beat Leeds, I generally think that Arsenal get a result at West Ham just because they need it. And that, they win at West Ham, they're probably going to win the league, which I think they'll go and do anyway. And if we beat Leeds, I look at that Chelsea game and think that's a game that we'll probably lose. But then at least we can, in a weird way, afford to lose it, knowing that we've got that last home game against Everton, who probably ain't going to have anything to play for, and hopefully they'll lie down for us and we can win that game. But, beggars can't be choosers, man. I'll take every win as it comes, I've lived in Aston, beat you lot. I live in Wolves, and we beat you lot. So I'm going to end this note by saying, up the Midlands, up the Spurs.